Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I just got done watching the new Nintendo Direct. There was a lot of anticipation for this one because I believe it's the first time that Nintendo has ever done one of these that's over an hour long. And when you pair that to the release of the Nintendo Switch, I think a lot of people, myself included, are like, man, that's going to be a lot of time to talk about a lot of games, and they did not disappoint here. There's a lot of stuff to cover, some huge surprises. I don't think anybody saw the Virtual Boy coming back, did you? I was blown away by that. But in this video, I'm going to kind of give you some of my highlights and also some of my thoughts. It was an interesting one. There's some highs and some lows here for sure. There's some new games as well as some remakes, some surprises. So, all right, let's take a look. Nintendo started this off with a big celebration of Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary. They literally dedicated 20 minutes of it just to Mario goodness. And, you know, I mean, it's amazing to think that it's been 40 years since the launch of the very first game in Japan. And so they started off by reminding people that, hey, there is a Nintendo museum in Japan that you might want to visit. There's going to be a bunch of exclusive things that they're going to do over the next year to celebrate that. They also announced that there's going to be an opening of a third theme park in Orlando, Florida. So that's cool for all you East Coasters. And speaking of, they did announce that there's going to be Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 coming to Switch. These are going to be coming in October along with new amiibos. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like they are showing a physical version of those games as well. I guess you're going to be able to buy them individually, digitally, if you want to. But you know me, man, I'm going to be getting the physical. That's going to be pretty cool. Keeping with the Mario theme, they announced Mario Tennis Fever coming to the Switch 2. So the big features here is that it's going to have new defensive maneuvers that you can do along with Fever rackets. So basically these are rackets with special abilities. And another surprise here was that it's going to have an adventure mode. So basically it looks going to be like a campaign story mode added to this. So I actually like tennis games. I don't play them a lot, but when I do, I have a good time. Actually, my wife and I love to play tennis games, and so I'm probably going to be picking this up. They also announced a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, so they're adding a whole new area, basically Bella Bell Park, that's going to be designed specifically for multiplayer. So I really enjoyed Wonder when that came out. I think that was a fantastic 2D platforming Mario game. But I never got into multiplayer, but this does look pretty cool. They're adding some new stages as well as new ways to play together or competitively. So this will be coming in the spring. I thought this was kind of interesting too. They're bringing out a physical version of the talking flowers from that game, which is one of the best parts of the game. I got to be honest with you, it's pretty funny how they talk, and you know they almost kind of I don't know, chastise you a little bit or make fun of you or give you information. So I guess you're gonna be able to put this in your desk or office or your room or something, and it'll talk back to you. And then they announced a new 2D Yoshi game. So this one's called Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. And I'm excited for this because I love the Yoshi games. This has a really interesting pencil drawing kind of art style to it. Looks pretty fun. I'm always down for a new Yoshi game, so this one also comes out in the spring. After that, they took some time and talked about some third-party games, the first one being Storm Lancers. Now, I don't know much about this, but it looks pretty cool. I guess it's anime-inspired 2D platforming, / action game. I think this looks pretty cool, and I guess it's coming out today, so I actually may jump on that pretty quick. Although, again, I don't know if there's a physical version of this or it's just digital at the moment, but I did think this looks pretty cool. I know a lot of people are looking forward to getting Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade on the Switch 2, and this got a lot of people excited, although I'm kind of confused as to why. I guess maybe they just want to play it portably on a Nintendo device. I'm not entirely sure. But, this made a lot of people happy seeing this, as well as Hades 2. So Hades 2 is going to be getting a Switch 2 edition, and they started by showing off a really cool animated intro here that was pretty fun to watch. Now, I don't have to tell you guys, but the original was quite popular on the Switch. So a lot of people have been waiting for this. It's cool that they're showing this. And basically, this is a roguelike beat 'em up RPG. And I guess the Switch 2 version is going to be running at 1080p and up to 120 frames per second in docked mode. So that's cool, especially for an action game. And this will be coming out September 25th. They touched on Kirby Air Riders quickly, and I was glad that they did, because initially when they announced this, I was like, yeah, I may pick it up, I may not. But then I watched the dedicated direct, and I was like, oh, they're adding a bunch of stuff to this game. It looks fantastic. And today they announced that there's going to be 2 new amiibos that you're going to be able to buy that will interact with the game. And those amiibos are going to be coming out the same day the game does, on November 20th. This was kind of a nice surprise. At first I was like, wait, is this a Dragon Quest game? This looks vaguely familiar. And then of course they showed the title. I'm like, oh, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. So I thought this looks pretty cool. So as you can see from here, I think the graphics look gorgeous. So it's got that kind of diorama design to it, but really sharp. It's almost like little figures that you can kind of pick and, pick up off a table or something like that. So I thought this is pretty neat. The Dragon Quest games are kind of getting especially some of these older ones are getting a resurgence here. And so this is going to be coming out February 5th. And then this was the big surprise for me. I was like, wait, what? Nintendo is going to be bringing back the Virtual Boy. What? This is crazy. So basically, yeah, they're going to be bringing Virtual Boy games to the Nintendo Classic service. And the way that this is going to work is that they're going to sell 2 different versions of hardware to play this. So I guess, first of all, if you're not familiar with the Virtual Boy, it's a famously failed console that Nintendo put out in the 90s. And it had stereoscopic 3D. And the games are actually pretty cool. Some of them are pretty cool on it. And the way that this is going to work is that you'll buy this accessory, and you can put either the original Switch or the Switch 2 in there, and then you plant your face on it, and then you get stereoscopic 3D. And they're going to be bringing all 14 games to it, I think. So it's I mean, it's kind of cool. Although I have to admit that when I saw this, I'm like, man, they should have did this during the 3DS era, right? That 3D handheld would have been perfect for this, but, better late than never. So I don't know how popular this is going to be, but I am absolutely going to be buying this. And then another little surprise is we got footage of Samus on a motorcycle. And I was like, what? What is going on with this? Like, is this going to be a Metroid racing game? But no, actually, it is footage from Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So I was like, that's pretty cool. So didn't get a whole lot of, additional information about this game. I'm very excited for it because I've really enjoyed the previous ones. We did learn that there's going to be a launch date. So it's coming December 4th. And they're going to be releasing 3 new amiibos for this game as well, including Samus on that motorcycle. So yeah, I'm going to be picking that up. I recently played and beat Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I was excited to see that there's going to be DLC for this game coming very soon. Basically a new take on DK Island, and they're going to have some new challenges and things to explore there. I guess there's something called Emerald Rush, so that's going to be timed ranked events that you can play on DK Island. This is going to be paid DLC, and I believe it comes out today. A lot of people were curious about new Pokemon announcements, and they announced a brand new Pokemon game called Pokopia, I guess. That's coming next year. And basically, it looks like you're going to be learning abilities from Pokemon, and then you shape the environment, and that in turn helps the Pokemon. So, not entirely sure what's going on here, but they did show them building homes and growing crops. Basically, this is designed to kind of be a cozy game, so one that you kind of just chill out, not rushed, just kind of take your time and hang out. So I can see people getting excited about this. They also showed more footage of Pokemon Legends ZA, and that's launching very soon. A lot of people are very excited for that, and so we got to see a bunch of Switch 2 footage, and I guess that's coming next month, along with some announced paid DLC called Mega Dimension. So lots of stuff there if you are Pokemon fans to look forward to. Being that this is an hour-long direct, they did sprinkle in a bunch of third-party kind of montages and announcements. Just a ton of stuff, not only coming just to the Switch, but Switch 2. So it's interesting to see how the original Switch, I mean, people are not forgetting that. So, which makes sense, right? Developers, they want as many people to play their games as possible. And so you are seeing definitely a mix of Switch and Switch 2. I suspect probably the big thing being just performance, right? If you're a third-party developer, you're probably going to put it on both and basically say, hey, if you want to play 60 frames a second, better load times, get the Switch 2 version of it. But they did show a bunch of third-party games here, and you're seeing that footage right now. And then they had a pretty freaky trailer for Resident Evil Requiem, and this caught my attention. I was like, this game looks really cool. I will have to say, though, that again, kind of like Star Wars Outlaws, the hair on her doesn't look quite that great on the Switch 2. I know I'm nitpicking here. It doesn't ultimately matter. But I saw that and I was like, okay, am I going to get the Switch 2 version, or would I just wait and get it on, say, the PlayStation 5? You know, it all depends if I want to play it portably or not. But I do think the game looks pretty cool, and so I am going to be picking that up for sure. And also, along with that, they announced that they're going to be releasing Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, as well as Village, all on the same launch day. So that's going to be February 27th. That's going to be Resident Evil Day, basically. So 3 games coming out on Switch, so that's pretty cool. And then they ended with footage from a game that a lot of people are looking forward to. I am also curious about this as well. That is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. So this is a game that's coming out next year, although the footage that they showed, it looks like it's coming along, quite well. It looks like it's almost done as far as I can tell. But it looks gorgeous, and this definitely looks like a pretty cool entry into the Fire Emblem series. If you're not familiar with these, they're really fun turn-based tactical RPGs. I jump into the series every once in a while because they are so massive, but some of the best games in that genre are the Fire Emblem games, and so I think this is going to sell really well. I thought the cutscenes looked really good, plus the top-down view is very familiar from fans of the series, but then it goes into the combat, and it turns this full 3D cinematic view. Again, I think it looks fantastic. And so that, guys, are my impressions and thoughts on the Nintendo Direct. It's been pretty interesting being a Switch owner because I've really enjoyed my time with that console. It's only been out a couple months, but Donkey Kong Bonanza is really great. I played and beat Cyberpunk on it. I'm playing Star Wars Outlaws right now. Of course, Mario Kart World. But I was curious to see if there's going to be more coming that I'd be excited about. And based on this, yeah, there's probably 5 games in here that I'm probably just going to buy day one. But I would love to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments below if you are a Switch or Switch 2 owner, or perhaps you are looking at a direct like this and trying to decide if it's time to jump in or not. So let me know down in the comments. And as always, guys, I want to thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.